All right, for this video, I want to talk about the Delaware State Earned Income Tax Credit. So we're all very familiar with the federal Earned Income Tax Credit, right? This is reported on your Form 1040, and it is a federal tax credit that is available to taxpayers with lower incomes that either have qualifying children or do not, right? So in our example here, we're going to look at a case where John Q, taxpayer, he's a single filer with no qualifying children, so he doesn't have any dependents, but he is still eligible for the federal and state EIC because of his income levels. So Delaware generally computes their state earned income tax credit as a percentage of the federal. So what that means is you have to start with your Form 1040 return, compute the federal portion, and then move on to whatever the state portion might be. So in our example here, we've got a 1040 for John Q, taxpayer. Again, remember, he's a single filer. He has no dependents, so no qualifying children. But his earned income for the year is only $18,000. He has some investment income, but given his $18,000 of earned income, he's well below that threshold to where he can still get the EITC, even though he doesn't have qualifying children. So if we look at the Eic Worksheet, we have his earned income here of $18K, and then when we reference the EIC tables, based on that amount of earned income, the amount of earned income tax credit he's going to get for the year is $521. Okay, so the $521 is then reported on page 2 of the 1040, right up here on line 27A. So that's his federal EIC amount, which he claims for federal tax purposes. Now, once he's got that $521, he can move on to his state tax return for Delaware, right? So this is his Delaware resident return for the 2021 tax year. He completes this as he normally would, right? Pulling amounts from the federal return, right? You need your federal AGI, and then you might have additions or subtractions depending on what type of items would or would not be allowed for state tax purposes. Now, once he's got those completed, his total tax liability is $490. And then he gets a personal exemption, one exemption, right, because he's a single filer for $110. So the net amount that he's going to owe before we calculate any credits is going to be $380. All right, and now that's important because Delaware's EIC is both refundable and non-refundable. So it's non-refundable if he doesn't have sufficient tax liability to cover the actual credit itself. So the credit is computed within one of the DE schedules. So we have DE Schedule 2 here, Earned Income Tax Credit. Now, child's name, last name, again, he doesn't have any dependents, right? So no qualifying children, so it's okay to leave that blank. And then here, lines 13 through 17 is where we have the federal and state EIC amounts. So we could see here, the line 13 is the federal earned income credit amount, right? There's that $521. Then you need to compute both the refundable and non-refundable portion. The non-refundable portion is 20% of the federal, so $104 is 20% of $521. And then the refundable calculated amount is 4.5% of the $521. So that's where we arrive at the $23 amount. Now, the total non-refundable EITC here for John is going to be $104 for the tax year. Now, the 104 is then ultimately reported up here on, so a line, let's see, line 33, right? So we have the earned income tax credit, non-refundable portion, $104. So he's going to get a full credit for the $104 because his tax liability is greater than that. So he owes $380. He is allowed a refundable or a non-refundable credit, rather, of $104. And then he's got his Delaware withholding, which he's going to get back a portion of that as well. So very, very simple calculation, frankly, for Delaware. Not too many moving pieces. You just need to be sure that you are, in fact, eligible for it at the federal level, and then pay attention to any unique nuances that might exist at the Delaware state level. But generally speaking, you're just going to be simply multiplying the federal amount by 20%. And that's the amount of credit that you'll get for Delaware state tax purposes. Okay, so that covers it for this video. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, certainly leave me a comment below. Happy to answer any I can. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you.